Is that the last of it?
Yep, this is it.
Where'd you find these boxes?
In the attic, underneath the eaves. Do you remember what they are?
They must be from before I started marking everything.
It sounds like a box of broken light bulbs.
Oh, I know what it is. Pull up the lid.
What is this? Some kind of jigsaw puzzle?
It's one of a kind. It was a present from a fan 1,000,000 years ago.
What's it supposed to be a picture of?
I never found out. It was never finished. I got it in the mail after I left the act. I used to carry jigsaw puzzles on the road. It helped to keep me sane.
Some pieces have a number on the back.
I did that out of habit, to keep track of which ones fit each other. Every night they'd go back in the box and we'd go on to the next stop on the tour. The puzzles helped when I'd lose track of where we were. The numbers made me feel things fit together.
But you never finished it.
Once I had you, I didn't care. Just put it in the car. Maybe I'll start it up again.
This other box is full of videotapes.
That one goes in the dumpster right away.
Don't you want to see what tapes they are?
I remember those all right. They're us, your father and I, when we had the act.
Clips of Jacke, Hill, and Dale Malone. And some of these are labeled. Hill and Dale, 1963, Ed Sullivan.
Oh, God. Toss them all.
Well, I've never seen the act that you two had together.
No. We split up the year that you were born.
Do you mind if I watch these?
I guess it's okay for you. Just don't make me watch.
I'll take them. I can play a VHS.
Just keep in mind, it's ancient history. You're the only good thing from back then. The rest of it, I just want to forget.
Thank you very much, folks. In this one, we take you to a 6th grade class in math. I have a brand new student. It's his first day, and he turns out to be a challenge. We have time for one more problem, class. We haven't heard from you yet today, Leslie. Would you read the next word problem, please?
Joseph borrows $20,000. If he pays back $1,000 every week, how long will it take to pay it all?
And what's your answer?
It ain't gonna happen.
Excuse me?
See, that question is a trick question. It's like, who wins a fight between King Kong and Godzilla? King Kong's 80 feet, Godzilla's 300 feet. It ain't gonna happen.
What's that got to do with this problem?
It's just like I said, ain't happening. If Joey pays it off a yacht a week, you figure in the juice. He ain't never gonna pay it off.
Don't rush, class. The homework's on the board. Leslie, may I see you for a moment?
What, I do? I do something wrong?
I know this is your first day, Leslie, but are you sure you belong here in this class?
Well, I don't really know. They sent me here from the office. Do we have a problem?
It's just that, well, you're older than the other students in the class. Why are you here?
They told me I should pick up where I left off. You know, and finished the 6th grade.
I see.
It's where we kind of parted ways, first time around, that is.
So you left school in the 6th grade?
Yeah.
What did you do after that?
Oh, I went right to work. I had a pressing need.
What was the work?
Wait a sec, I have it written down. It says here that I was a cabin boy in the British Navy. Like I said, I had a pressing need to help my family. Times got hard. It cost a lot of scratch to live in London high society.
You grew up in England?
I guess so. It says here that my family goes way back.
Your transfer says you're Leslie R. Throckmorton, but I have to say, you don't sound British.
I get that all the time. My funny accent. It's because I had a Scottish nanny. Yeah. I guess her funny way of talking must have rubbed off at an early age.
I see. Where did you live before you came here?
Back east, but I'm not supposed to say. See, when I moved, they promised me a job, but they won't let me do the stuff I'm good at. They say I'm going to have to be retrained. So first I have to finish high school, only I can't even start it for 3 years.
Do I want to know the stuff you're good at?
Why not? I'm what you call a problem solver. You got a problem, I can make it go away.
You can solve any kind of problem?
Why, you got one?
Not exactly me.
Tell me about it. Any kind of problem. I'm serious.
Yes, I can see. Well, I worry about recess and what kids do to each other that we never see.
Oh, yeah, you mean like shakedowns and protection. I can fix that. You should try me out.
What would you do about it if I did?
First thing you do, you organize the bullies. Then everybody else falls into line.
You do sound like you've had experience.
Oh, like you would know. Hey, you're all right. How about we meet up after school sometime?
What is it you're suggesting?
Well, you know, you're nice, you're smart, you're easy on the eyes. I think I'd like to spend some time with you, you know, when you're outside of the job.
Well, I think that would be frowned upon.
Is there some rule about a teacher and a student?
Not in the 6th grade. No, I don't think so.
So there you go. The only thing is,
What?
we gotta break up when I get to high school.
Well, thank you, Leslie, for our little talk.
I liked it too. And you can call me Chooch.
Yes.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, what a nice surprise. Are you okay? You never called this early.
I know, but things are getting crazy here with exam week coming up. I need to get away from campus for a day. How about tomorrow? Can you stand a visit?
Anytime.
It's only for the day. I'll be driving back down after dinner, but I'll have most of the day, and I can see your new place now you're settled in.
Sure. I'd like that. Come up when you like.
I'll be there by noon. You know, I watched some of those tapes. You two were pretty good.
People liked us at the time.
I have to say, though, Dad is nothing like he used to be.
Well, you know he likes to play a part.
He's just so different now. I guess he's funny by himself, but there's a different edge to what he does. I liked him better when you two were together.
So did I. But neither of us is the same, and we both have good reasons for that. Quite a few, in fact.
You never told me much about it. How you got together, why you split.
I thought that it should wait till you were older.
I've never been as old as I am now.
You're 21. You're right. Okay, let's talk. What do you know? What do you want to know?
Well, the divorce for one? Why did it happen?
Have you ever read the document?
No, I only heard about it. How you got sole custody and he didn't contest it.
You know the reason, infidelity?
I kind of guessed at that.
That's what it says, but it was complicated.
Did he cheat on you?
Yes, but there were other problems. He gambled way too much. Sometimes there wasn't any money. With you on the way, I needed to be sure that we could make it.
The court ruled that he had to pay. Did he?
Mostly. He tried his best. And Uncle Ray, he handled all the money coming in, and he made sure we got our payment first.
Uncle Ray's been gone 3 years. Have we still been getting checks for all that time?
Not lately.
Well, when's the last one that you got?
It was last spring sometime.
So wait, is that why you moved?
This place costs half as much.
How could you let him get away with that? He agreed to pay. It isn't right. Hasn't he let you down enough already?
Let's not talk about this on the phone.
Okay. I'll be there by mid-afternoon.
Take the last chop. I won't eat leftovers. It's nice to cook for somebody again. Are you sure you don't want to stay over? I've got a room fixed up for you, and you could drive back in the morning when it's light.
I should go back tonight. I've got exams.
You don't like the apartment.
It's not that.
This is your first visit since I moved, and you can't wait to get back in the car.
Mom, your new place is nice. It isn't that. I guess that I just miss the house. Except for dorm rooms, it's the only place I've lived. I have a lot of memories from there.
But moving makes sense. Once you went to college, it was way too much for me to keep all by myself. And once you graduate, you won't be coming back, except to visit. I'm better off here, since I'll be alone.
I understand that house is just too big. But it's still wrong you have to give it up because he can't do what he said he would. He agreed to pay in the divorce till I was 21. He even said he'd keep it up while I was still in school.
I know he did. But now he's just stopped paying. I can take him back to court, but that will just use up what I've got put aside.
What a rotten thing to do.
Well, in the meantime, I'm just going to do more work. Tax time's coming up. I'll get more clients, take on as many as I can.
If Uncle Ray was still alive, this never would have happened. He'd know how to straighten Dad right out.
He would. I don't know how we ever would have kept things going all those years without his help. The last 3 years have been a lot more of a struggle since he's gone. It's been harder for your father, too, not having Uncle Ray around to help him. We needed him. We both did, from the start. If he wasn't booking us at first, and if he hadn't managed our career once we got going, we'd have had no work. He talked people into hiring us. I don't think your father would have made it as a solo stand-up without Ray.
I don't really care about that now. I guess I'm being selfish, only thinking about myself. I used to wish that Ray had married you instead, and he could be my dad. I felt like Rose and Bob were lucky. They had a dad who stayed around. They got to see him every day. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but it's true. I guess that shows I'm not much of a son.
Don't ever say that, Warren. It's not true. We made the best of a tough situation. Being on the road is hard on families. Your father always tried to do his best.
Until now, you mean? You can defend him if you want. I hardly know the man. Let's see what else is in this box. November 12th in 68. That's right before I was born. This must have been the first time he went out as a solo act.
Thank you very much, folks. Here I am, Jacke Hill, all by myself. Remember what Groucho said when Zeppo left the act? We'll have to get more money. Am I right? So, I was married. Now, I'm just the X. You've heard about the X. X marks the spot. It's on the map. It's where they find the body. They say when you get married, that's the greatest day of your life. I know it was for me. After that, it went straight downhill. I should have known right off the bat that something wasn't right. Why, even at the wedding, they asked, will you love, honor, and obey? I said, I do. She said, I'll think it over. Marriage wasn't good enough for her. Our first night, she kicked me out of bed. She said, I need someplace to put my crackers. But where am I supposed to sleep? I said. Go sleep in the corner, she said. What? Am I some kind of dog? I said. I'm not sure yet, she said. Can you sit up and beg? Folks, I tell you, it's no bed of roses. They say get married and you'll help each other. You'll help to share the burdens. Once she found out where I kept the cash, she helped herself. I asked her why. She said, what's ours is mine. Pretty soon, she starts with the complaining. It's like there's nothing you can do to please her. Let's face it, she says. You're just not romantic. Other wives, their husbands bring them flowers, little presents when they don't expect them. You'd never do a thing like that. I say, how about I tiptoe in when you're asleep and hide a present underneath your pillow? You'd wake me up, she said. You'll loaf and squeak. And then, you gotta have a house. You gotta be a good provider. So you work, you save, you buy a little house. But is that good enough? Oh, no. As soon as you move in, she starts on home improvement. She says, our house is too small. There's no room for us to ask a friend to spend the night. Why don't you build a guest house in the back? Just make it big enough for one. I say, that sounds more like a doghouse. She says, right, that's perfect. That's no way to treat a guest, I say. It's not for them, she says. It's so you'll have a place to sleep when I have guests. Folks, I tell you, nothing you can do will keep her happy. When you got it good, somebody else has always got it better. We went by a house one day, 3 stories, lots of rooms. She takes a look and says, I wish that we had one of those. Just then a guy with bulging muscles, wearing shorts so tight you know he's not a Jew, comes out with a ladder, leans it up against the wall, climbs up to the 2nd floor. She says, I wish you had one of those. You mean a ladder, I say? She says, no. So by and by the guy comes down again. He picks up 2 paint cans and balancing them, starts back up the ladder, very slow. She says, I wish you had 2 of those. You mean the paint cans, I say. She says, no. The car pulls up in the driveway and a woman gets out. The guy comes down the ladder, kisses her, and brings her groceries inside. She says, I wish I had one of those. But you got me. And she says, who are you? So maybe you break up. I'm here to tell you, though, that doesn't always make things better. When you break up, your friends, they all pick sides. My wife's friends all blame me for the divorce. My friends all got in line to ask her out. I tell you, folks, divorce is tough. It's like totaling your car. It might still look okay, but you can't drive it, and you got to keep up with the payments. Am I right? You think you get divorced, it'll be over. But it's not over till she says it's over. It snowed last week. She calls me up and says, get over here and shovel out the driveway. What for? I say, I haven't got a car. She says, my boyfriend doesn't like to leave the Jag out in the street. It's like I paid for the refrigerator and he gets to raid it every night. Folks, am I right?
That's no way to talk about your wife.
Luke, I'm your father. Am I right?
You sure about that?
Give your dad a break.
That makes you think that you deserve a break.
Hey, whoa, kid, cool your jets a minute. I'm reaching out here.
So, what do you want?
Oh, I gotta have a reason. You're my kid.
Since when you ever call me just to talk?
Well, see, that's just it. I want to talk to you, but it's gotta be in person.
You're kidding, right? You always wait till you're at least 1,000 miles away to call, just so there's no chance we can ever talk in person. Am I right?
Ouch, okay. Maybe you got a point. But this time's different. I'm at the casino all week. Can you drive up and meet me on the weekend? Please?
Where are you going to be?
Ask for me in a big room. They all know me.
I don't think that anybody knows you.
Yeah, well, just don't tell the audience. They think I'm a guy who makes them laugh.
That proves my point. All right. I'll come up Sunday.
Thank you.
But I've got a lot of questions, and I'm going to want a lot of answers, no matter what you want to talk about.
What kind of questions?
Well, for starters, Mom says you stopped the checks 8 months ago. I just got into grad school. How are we supposed to pay for it?
That's part of what I want to talk about.
Well, you better tell it to me straight. And please, the truth, this time.
Okay, I get it. Fair's fair. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
That's good, but I can't promise I'll believe you.
Hey, kid. Good to see you. How you been?
What? Look, is there any place around this dump that's quiet?
No, they like it so you're never far from hearing someone hit it.
If losers made a noise, that's all you'd ever hear. This place is too depressing.
It's all in how you look at it. You guys gotta have a dream.
Now, some dreams don't drain the kiddie fund.
Who told you about that?
So, you admit it.
That's not what this is about. Your mother tell you that?
Actually, she didn't. All she said was that you used to have a gambling problem. I figured out the rest myself.
You figured wrong. She's right. I used to have a problem when we were married. I had more than one. But if you think that's why I haven't paid the 8 months, you got it wrong. It's not because I lost the money.
Then what is it?
It's what I want to talk to you about. See, there's a way for you to help me out. I mean, for us to help each other out.
What's that supposed to mean?
Will you sit still while I try to talk to you about it?
You never really talked to me before.
Look, I know I haven't made an effort.
You got that right. How often did I see you? Twice a year when I was little? And then all you did was crack a bunch of phony jokes.
I know. I never did feel comfortable. How's a dad supposed to act?
He's not supposed to act. He's just supposed to be himself.
I guess that's what I am then. Just a guy who tells you jokes.
Well, try not doing that for once, okay?
All right, look, let me go back a few years and try to make you understand. It's true. I never had much luck with money. No matter what I make, that's what I spend.
My mom says you never would have paid if not for Uncle Ray.
That's fair, but not because I didn't want to. It's because I never knew where the money went. Your Uncle Ray handled the money and made sure your mother got the check each month. I never would have done it on my own. I trusted him.
But you should have. He knew how to be a dad. I mean, he taught me how to wash my face. That's kind of something you're supposed to do.
I'm glad he was around for you.
Me too.
But when he passed 3 years ago, I had to get somebody else to manage me. I thought the guy I hired was working out until the IRS caught up with me and said I owed him a ton of unpaid taxes. Turns out the guy was skimming all along, so I canned him. But I'm broke. Not even broke. I'm in the hole. That's why I called you.
I don't get it.
I need help. Somebody I can trust to manage my career and make the money go where it's supposed to. It's going to be a lot of work to dig myself out of the hole.
Where do I come in? I'm still in school.
I know. You want to study business, go to grad school. What's a better way to learn than doing business?
You want me to handle your career?
I know I can trust you, right? And you'll make sure the money goes where it's supposed to.
And where exactly is that going to be?
What do you mean? You know, the IRS.
And if I go to work for you, instead of keeping on in school, guess what? Since I'm over 21, you'll never have to write Mom another check. See how that works? Pretty slick, wouldn't you say?
I thought it'd be a chance for us to really get to know each other. Finally.
Well, maybe. I need time to think about it. How about you send me all your records? Let me see the way the business works. Until you do that, I'm not saying yes.
I'll send you what I got. I don't keep records.
Great. I don't see how you're not in jail.
People like me. What else can I say?
I have to do this. Sorry. Hold that thought.
So he says he wants to get to know me. It's a little late for that. Of course, he claims he's broke and somehow needs my help.
Well, maybe he does.
Well, don't tell me you're going to start defending him.
It's just that I know the way he is. He wouldn't ever know if he was being stolen from. Money doesn't mean a thing to him. He'd have to trust someone to handle it. If he picked a thief to manage him, it isn't hard to see it happening.
You sure are a lot more understanding than I can be.
You might feel differently if you knew him better. Do you want to know him better?
Really, what's the point?
Well, what's the point of staying angry at him? He can't change the past. At least he's trying to be a little closer to you now. I'll tell you one thing. If you worked for him, you'd see what he's like. And you could help him. You can handle money. And you're honest. You could do what Uncle Ray did for him.
So you're saying I should take the job?
I'm just saying you could think about it.
After what he did to you, why aren't you still mad at him?
What happened was a long time ago. We both were young.
It's not so long ago to me. I watched the stand-up tape of him after you two broke up. It was the fall of '68. I wasn't even born yet. All he did was make lame jokes about divorce and you. Have you even heard that stuff?
I've heard it. That wasn't personal. That was just business.
What's that supposed to mean? How is it business?
He had to start all over when we split. He had to have a whole new act, and people had to get to know him as a solo.
So he does that by making you look bad?
That's one way that a comic bills his name. People know. It's jokes. It isn't real.
I think it's cheap.
You're right. Showbiz is cheap. I didn't mind. I didn't have to do it anymore.
You didn't like the act.
I didn't like the life. I didn't miss it. Your father lives for the applause, the laughs. He needed the attention, so I helped him get it. I was in the act for him. He needs the road. I just prefer real life. And you're real life to me. When I had you, I knew that I was right to walk away. He had to keep on going. I don't blame him.
How can you not blame him for cheating on you?
Yes, that was different. That hurt. That took time to heal. But really, I was off the road by then. I told him, I'm not going to have a kid born in a trunk and dragged around the country. Every kid deserves a home. And once I left, and he was on his own, it wasn't a surprise something would happen. Women come backstage after the show. That's just what being on the road is like.
You make it sound like you think it's your fault. I hope you're okay with my blaming him.
My fault? No. But who knows who's to blame? That all ties up too much energy. Could you get my pie shell in the other room? It's cooling on the sill.
You made some progress on that puzzle.
Yes, I got the sides filled in.
This is a homemade-looking puzzle. Like someone blew up a photograph and put it on heavy stock and cut it up.
It looks like a photo of two people. I figure it's the two of us. We got it from a fan. They'd send us things sometimes.
The whole middle is empty, so it could be anybody, though.
I know. The mystery isn't solved quite yet. It gives me something to work on when I can't get back to sleep. I like a puzzle. It's the kind of problem where you already know there's a solution. God knows there's plenty of the other kind.
Have you had a chance to look it over?
To look what over?
All the business stuff. I sent you everything that looked businessy.
I got some statements, if that's what you mean. I got your bookings from the agency. Who's been keeping track of that? The jobs, the venues, making sure that you got paid, seeing that the contracts all were read and signed and followed when you did the work?
I don't know. I just go where they tell me.
Your agency is supposed to talk you up and try to get you work.
I know that.
Well, it looks to me like they stopped doing that a couple of years ago. All they do now is answer the phone when jobs come in for you. And that hasn't been happening too often.
I guess I noticed that I wasn't working much.
Well, you didn't lie. You do need help. You're broke, all right. It's like you fell asleep in the back seat. You need someone to drive.
Hey, that's not bad. You get that from your mother?
No. Why?
Sounds like something she'd think up. It's the way she used to write.
She used to write. I don't understand. What did she write?
She wrote the act. She came up with the scenes, the characters, the situations, most of the lines. Without her, there's no act. On top of that, she gave me all the laughs.
I never heard any of this before. This isn't something that she talks about. She makes it sound like she was just along for the ride so you could get attention.
Well, it's true. She wasn't in it for attention. She was happy when she got off the road. I'm not going to say I'm not a ham either. I needed laughs way more than her. But she was the one who drove the car. Hell, she even designed and built the car.
I never would have thought that possible. She isn't funny in her daily life.
Well, maybe not now. When the act broke up, when we broke up and she went home, she agreed to help me out. The bits I did the whole next year. She wrote them all.
So wait, I've seen some of that stuff. You mean all the divorce material that made her look so bad? All of the ex-wife gags? You're telling me that she wrote all of that?
Sure she did. Go ask her. She was trying to help me out. I was going to work without an act. The ex-wife bit is very standard, but she had her own take on it.
So what did you do after that first year?
I had to get some writers after that. But even with a table full of monkeys, I never found one half as good as her. She knew my rhythm, knew what worked for me. And when they love you, they work extra hard.
It's almost like you had the perfect setup.
I guess we did.
So why'd you screw it up?
They call me funny. They don't call me smart.
You made a lot of progress on this puzzle.
I know, right? I've had time to work on it. It's all filled in except your father's part.
Do you recognize the photograph?
You know, I don't. I guess it was a candid some fan took without our knowing it.
Did you say there was a note included?
There was. Something like, "You two will always be my favorites," and signed, "Your fan."
Do you miss having fans?
Well, yes and no. A little bit of adulation was enough for me. Your father ate it up. He prefers the spotlight.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Warren, why did you come over?
Oh, I knew you'd still have some pistachio pie left over for the weekend. At the rate you eat, you'd have it for at least a week.
You didn't make the drive for that. What is it?
Dad told me something that I have to check.
What did he tell you?
Did you write the act? The one you had together all those years?
I don't see that it matters, but you have a right to know. Yes, most of it was mine.
I don't understand. You're just not funny. I mean, not in daily conversation. You're not what I would call a natural.
I know what you mean. You're right, I'm not. I don't toss off one-liners. If I sit down and think things out, though, I can write. Actually, it's mathematical. You start with characters and situations, and every line is like a piece that fits together. It's like making up a puzzle.
But how'd you ever find out you could do it?
Well, when I met your father, we were still in school, and it was clear he'd have a life where he'd be showing off in front of people one way or another. That's his gift. We did plays together. When we had a funny script, he was just terrific. Once we became a couple, it was clear to me that we could be a perfect team. He really can't think up his own material, you know. I wanted to be close to him, so I tried my hand at writing up an act. It worked out great. We were a natural fit. I was always needed, and he got the laughs. I was happy to be feeding him straight lines.
Why did this take so long for you to tell me?
It was different, that part of my life. When you came along, everything changed. I wrote the act because we were together. Once we were over, I did other things. It's not like I needed to be funny.
Well, that all makes sense, I guess. Except,
For what?
Dad says you wrote the whole first year after he went out on his own. Why'd you do that? You said it hurt a lot when you broke up.
Yes, it did.
So why do him that favor?
I guess down deep, a part of me still loved him.
I don't see what he ever did for you.
Look in the mirror now and then. You will.
Let's see. Last performance, 68. This one is the end of Hill and Dale. It's from September. Mom was 5 months pregnant. And if she wrote this, what's it going to say about the two of them when they broke up?
You wanted to see me before I left?
Ah, Jackie Hill. Thank you for stopping by.
Is this about a raise? I sure could use one.
A raise! It's funny you should say that.
Why?
Because you're through. I have to let you go.
What do you mean?
This isn't working out.
I thought it was going pretty good.
Oh, not at all. Your work has been subpar, to say the least.
What don't you like about it?
I'd say you were unreliable, but that's not the right way to describe you. It's more like you're too predictable. I know exactly what you're going to do. First, you'll make a promise. Then you'll break it. Then you'll say you're sorry. And you'll swear that it won't happen anymore. Guess what happens next? I could make book on it. You could screw up a 2-car funeral.
Well, yeah, but I always try my best.
It's not how hard you try, it's how you do. It's time to shuffle off to Buffalo, Buster. You go your way, I'll go mine.
That's what I get for years of faithful service?
It wasn't all that faithful. And there wasn't that much service.
Oh, so that really hurts.
That's what they always say about the truth.
This doesn't have to be so personal. I'll have you know, some women find me charming.
And all the rest of them find you with bloodhounds. It's time to go. You're past your sell-by date, and you're the kind of ham that can't be cured.
But audiences love us, don't they laugh?
They must think you're funny. I know better.
We haven't done so bad. We get to travel.
Sure. We go from one dump to another. They're all the same, only the towels change.
How about all the money that we make?
All it ever did was wave goodbye. What have I got to show for all these years? A trunk I can't lock and a curling iron.
At least we learned a lot about each other.
Sure. I spell disappointment. J-A-C.
Okay, I get it. Maybe I could change.
Sure. Science can work wonders nowadays. Doctors can replace what isn't working. You should look into that.
How's that again?
Maybe you can't be a different guy, but you can fix the parts that aren't working. I think you ought to get replacements.
Huh?
Start with your knees and then work your way up.
I don't get it. All my joints work fine.
Well, you think just like a man. Okay. Start with your ears so you can listen better and move on to what you've got between them.
I'm not following you.
No, you wouldn't. Remember when you used to follow me?
I remember when you used to need me.
I need you like a rat needs cyanide.
It's Jackie L. You want to hear a joke?
Who says I'm not hearing one right now?
Oh, hi, kid. You going to take the job?
I'm not even thinking about that right now. Got some questions that need answers.
You must have asked your mom about the act. I bet everything I said checked out.
I know it happened, if that's what you mean. But why it happened, I don't understand. Look, I got to talk to you in person. Where are you now? Can I come out to see you?
I'm headed to the airport for a week in Buffalo, but you can meet me there if you want. Flight's not till 4:30. It's 93 Northwest.
I'll see you there.
So what is it that you don't understand?
I watched a tape of your last show together. It was September '68.
Right when I went solo.
Mom was trashing you left and right. It was more mean than funny.
Oh, I remember. That year was a mess. She was pregnant all that fall, and she got off the road to rest up. The divorce was happening, and you were born that winter. She was busy writing bits for me, setting up the house for her and you. I don't know how she managed all of it.
But here's the problem I have with the story. Adultery was given as the grounds for the divorce.
Well, yeah, so naturally she was mad at me.
But that's just it. When I asked her about it, it was like it hurt, but she expected it. She didn't blame you. She almost defended you.
That's not how I remember it.
I'm just repeating what she said to me. Did you do something else that would have made her mad? Something harder for her to forgive?
You could ask her about all this, you know.
All she said was you had other problems.
If she didn't want to tell you more, I don't think I should be the one to do it.
Now stop the presses. Jackie Hill looks bad. Don't forget, this is supposed to be a chance for me to get to know you better. So far, you haven't raised my expectations.
Okay, I guess you got a right to know. I screwed up big time. But you gotta know the story, the whole story. It goes back to when we first got married. Right away, your mom wanted a kid. But we were breaking in the act, just getting known. It wasn't the right time. And we had nothing put away. We made a deal. If she got pregnant, she'd get off the road, but she'd keep writing so I could go solo. Meanwhile, we would save up so we'd be ready for a kid. You probably heard kids cost a lot of dough.
Now, how'd that work out, given your reputation?
I guess you heard I have a money problem.
You had a hard time holding on to it.
Yeah, I'm not what you could call a saver, but your mom took in the money on the road, and Uncle Ray, he ran the office, so between them, they kept me from blowing it. And anyway, 6 years went by. She wasn't getting pregnant, and the act was going good. We had some money put away, and in case we had a kid, your mother'd have to quit the road. We could almost afford it. Then I hit a little snag. I lost a bundle in a poker game and made it worse by doubling down. I knew I couldn't ask your mother for the money, so I borrowed it. I figured that my luck was going to change, and I'd get back to even.
Let me guess. Your luck got even worse.
Did it ever. I got buzzard luck. And the guys I borrowed from, they weren't the understanding type. They broke my leg. I was laid up in the hospital for 2 weeks, and then, if I didn't pay, bye-bye funny man. Your Uncle Ray, he bailed me out. I guess he used the money we'd put away, the kiddie fund. I meant to pay it back, but she found out. She made me promise that I'd never touch it. Your mother was PO'd because of that. She was like, how could I ever trust you? And then, of course, first thing you know, she's pregnant. That's why we split up. She couldn't take me being how I was, and that's the only way I knew how to be. So she went home and wrote my solo act, and then had you.
The record said she claimed you cheated on her.
That happened later when I was alone. I said I wouldn't look good in this story.
I get why she would claim adultery. But why not talk about the money, too?
I don't know. She'd want to kick me when I was down. The cheating was enough to get the job done. It was nice and clean.
As disappointed as she was with you, she could have made a lot more trouble for you.
We did get married once upon a time, you know. She used to like me well enough. Till she found out what I'm really like.
Attention, all passengers on flight 307, please use boarding gate for boarding 2. That's all passengers.
I gotta get in line to board now. Sorry to take off like this.
I'm used to it.
Come in. It's open.
Sorry to barge in unannounced. I have to talk to you.
That's fine. You know that. What's the matter? You look upset.
Oh, I'm upset, all right. Well, maybe it's more like I'm confused. I just had a talk with Dad.
And he said, what?
He told me this dramatic story, trouble with the mob, a broken leg. Did he burn through a nest egg you had saved?
He told you that?
Why, isn't it true?
Oh, no, it's true if he said what I think.
And he said Ray bailed him out and saved his life by using all the money you had saved. And that's what ended things between you two. That you were so disgusted you gave up. He said the cheating happened after that. Is that the way it happened?
Yes, that happened. Did he tell you any more about it?
No, but that was plenty. I don't see why none of that came out in the divorce. I watched a tape of your last show together.
Ah, well, I remember that.
You just tore into him on stage like it was real.
I was angry at him at the time.
So why'd you keep on working with him then? Why'd you write that whole new act for him?
I knew we needed him to keep on working.
And what you write for him makes you look bad? Every laugh he gets is aimed at you? I don't understand. It makes no sense. Is there something that I'm missing here?
Go in the other room.
What?
Go ahead. There's one piece missing from the puzzle. You deserve to see all of the picture. Go in the other room. Look on the table.
Mom, this photo.
It's compromising.
When was this picture taken?
It was March of '68. That's when your dad was in the hospital.
It's not him in the picture. Was Uncle Ray my father?
I don't know. Not for sure.
How could it happen?
Just the way things happen. I was alone and feeling sorry for myself. Ray was the only one who knew what I was going through. It was 2 days. We both were shocked at what we did. It had to stop, and we agreed to keep it secret.
It was just... It only happened then.
Just those 2 days, and we were both ashamed of ourselves.
Did Jackie know about it?
I never told him.
So who sent the puzzle?
Some fan, I guess. I never even knew there was a picture of us till last night when I filled in the final missing pieces. All these years, nobody said a thing.
And I wish that Ray could be my father.
That's why the settlement went like it did. That's why in the act I wrote for Jacke, the jokes were all about his mean ex-wife. I did my share of breaking up that marriage.
All my life, I knew it was his fault. He was a flake. We couldn't be a family. You were the stable one. You made a life for us. It was easy. You were right, the good guy. He was wrong. He let us down. He was the bad guy. And I barely knew him. I've been mad at him for all this time. How do I make any sense of this?
There's enough good in the worst of us, enough bad in the best of us. Maybe we put forgiveness in between the two.
There better be enough to go around. But whether he's my father or he's not, Jacke Hill deserves to know the truth. Am I right?
You're right. It's time he knew.
So get in the car. Where we going?
To Mom's apartment. She just needs to talk.
I don't know if this is such a good idea. We haven't really talked in years.
It's not like you don't know each other.
Right, I know. That's just the problem, though. She knows me way too well. That's why I feel a little sheepish.
I don't think you have to worry much.
You sure? I didn't let her down again?
I admit, I didn't buy your story. I looked at your business records, and you didn't lie to me about the money. You were signing checks, but they weren't made out to Mom, and they weren't sent to us.
What could put in front of me, I'd sign. You think I'd lie?
I didn't know. I haven't thought that much of you, you know.
Nah, it's not like I can blame you.
But it turns out I should have kept an open mind. You're not the kind of guy I thought you were.
I'm good when the lights are on me for an hour. Rest of the day, not so much. I need help to organize my life. It was your mom at first, then Uncle Ray. He had his own kids, so he knew the job. I knew that he would be around for you when I couldn't be, and that made me feel like less of a heel. What can I say? I figured it took two of us to make one decent father.
I miss him a lot.
Me too. We were friends since we were kids, way before I even knew your mother.
Well, here we are. You ready?
New place, huh?
She couldn't keep the house.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
She says she likes it. I think she does. The past is gone, you know?
It keeps coming back, though. Am I right?
Mr. Hill, come in.
I like the place. It beats a motel room in Utica.
Yeah, huh? That's the way I look at it.
I never thought about it till you left. You had a hand wash all our clothes.
In sinks and bathtubs, yeah. Those were the days, all right. How'd you do them after I was gone?
I don't think you really want to know.
I'll take your word for that.
I always knew you were the brains behind the operation. I'm sorry that you had to sell the house.
Once Warren went to school, it got too big.
Yeah, maybe, but some cash flow would have helped. So, what's this all about? Must be important.
It's something that I think you ought to know. That you deserve to know. That says it better.
Well, that sounds bad.
It was. It still might be. I don't know how to put it into words. Go in the other room. Look on the table.
So, you finally figured out the puzzle.
What did you say?
It took you long enough.
I don't understand.
I sent you that a long time ago. I figured you must have solved it right away.
I put it in the attic. I just finished it. So, wait a minute. You sent it to me?
Sure, right after you got off the road.
So you knew about us all along?
What, you and Ray? No, not at first, but later.
How did you know?
Ray told me all about it.
He did?
He was my friend before we met, remember? He thought I had to know. I kind of understood it, what he told me. He was everything I couldn't be.
Except the part about having a wife and kids already. Yeah, he was that, too.
Yeah, he did both. He didn't live with you, but you two worked together just so I could have an act and keep on getting laughs. You two were great. I was your biggest fan. That's why I put the note in with the puzzle.
So wait. You knew that I could be Ray's son?
I'm no Matt Whiz, but I can count to 9.
You could have brought it up in the divorce.
I wasn't going to help you or your mother. I knew you'd be better off with her.
You made it look like it was all your fault.
It wasn't all my fault, okay, just mostly. At best, I was a lousy part-time husband. What kind of part-time father would I be?
Or was it that you thought I wasn't yours, so why exert yourself? Is that the reason I hardly saw you when I was a kid?
Hold on a minute. You could be my kid.
I was lousy at the father stuff, but at least I wanted to help out.
Why did you pay for him for all these years? Ray and me, you knew what that could mean. You could have made a case out of it.
It's like this. You're the one who wanted kids. We tried 6 years. You wanted it so much. It seemed like a miracle when you found out. I'm going to rock the boat because I might not be the guy? I couldn't do it. Not to you.
That's... What is there to say? Who'd ever have thought of you as noble?
Yeah, I know it's not my regular M.O. But this way, you were getting what you wanted, a house, a kid, regular day job, and I got to have an act on work. I mean, I was as close to happy as we ever got that first year we split up. Let's face it, we were hopeless trying to live together, but we worked together great. You were the brains behind the curtain, I was the joker in the big bright lights.
Too bad I took up so much of her time.
I said already, you were what she wanted.
I tried to do it all that first year, and I loved it all. Being a mom, being a writer, you both needing me. I really loved it, but it almost killed me. So I had to make a choice. And Warren couldn't even walk or order from a menu. You could do both. Well, at least one at a time. It really wasn't that hard to decide.
Yeah, you did the right thing.
But you know what? After I stopped, I missed the writing. I didn't think I would, but I was wrong. I missed it for a year or two after I stopped. And then I had no time to miss it.
I guess I took up everybody's time.
You couldn't help yourself. You were a baby.
You're right. I wasn't good for much back then. I crawled around and spit up lunch a lot. But maybe I can make up for it now. Do you still want me to run your office?
You do it, even though I'm just some guy.
You're not just some guy. I know that now. Sorry that I took so long to see it.
Thanks, kid. You'll get no argument from me. I'm sorry for a lot of stuff myself.
Let's not let me off the hook. I could have let the truth come out about myself back then and shared the blame. Instead, I let everybody think you were the heel.
So you slipped up once. You made up for it.
I could have done a lot more for you. Sorry.
You gave me something no one else could give. You made Jackie Hill. I got to play him. No one else could write for me like you. That's why my solo act is barely average. Not one of those scribbling monkeys knows me.
But you're the one who gets the laughs. Don't put yourself down. Bits don't sell themselves.
Yeah, but you had to tell me what to say. I'm just the straw that holds the bricks together.
So now I'm mud?
Don't knock mud. Worms slipping it.
You really ought to fire your writers.
Well, I would if I get somebody decent.
So I'm just decent.
I don't know. I know you used to be. What have you written lately?
You ought to see my grocery lists. They're boffo.
Can't you two see where all of this is going? You two have completely different lives, but you two fit together pretty good. Why not just agree to do what works? You stay home and write, and you stay on the road and call in every week or two. I'll run your office so you won't go broke. Just don't think about getting remarried. We all know that's a terrible idea.
This kid can't be mine. He's way too smart.
He makes a lot of sense, though, don't you think?
Yeah, we could try it. Am I right?
You're right.